Clothes smelling like trees, digging my earth from my roots and weeds. My true bleeds right back in the arm. No scar, but I left my mark. My friend got clean, then no deed. Life is just that dark. Clothes smelling like trees, digging my earth from my roots and weeds. My true bleeds right back in the arm. No scar, but I left my mark. My friend got clean, then no deed. Life is just that dark. But life is just that bright. And when the sunset shines, I seen the crafty rights. I'm back tonight with a sack to life. In honor of the past I write. I'm wide over with no glass of wine. Stuck in the barrel, I'll get better with time. While you measure how the pleasure declines. I'm stacking cheddar while the road just rise. With my eyes and my ears glued here on my grind, cutty. Creeping on the combine. Smelling like trees, digging my earth from my roots and weeds. My true bleeds right back in the arm. No scar, but I left my mark. My friend got clean, then no deed. Life is just that dark. Clothes smelling like trees, digging my earth from my roots and weeds. My true bleeds right back in the arm. No scar, but I left my mark. My friend got clean, then no deed. Life is just that dark. But life is just that bright. And when the sunset shines, I seen the crafty rights. I'm back tonight with a sack to life. In honor of the past I write. I'm wide over with no glass of wine. Stuck in the barrel, I'll get better with time. While you measure how the pleasure declines. I'm stacking cheddar while the rent just rise. With my eyes and my ears glued here on my grind, cutty. Creeping on the combine. Hard work and the crux that admitted us. About to bust, all my veins full of gold dust. The 1985 California gold rush. In the spine plus the flesh that it holds up. I'm out for mines and my wolves got us sewn up. One crow, one eagle on my shoulders. And my eyes hold the light that approaches.
So yeah guys, as you can see I'm still playing the same build as on Allah, and it's working pretty good still. I know I got 2 world buffs right now, but still about 5k DPS in raids. 4.5 is easy, achievable. This time I wanna go a little bit over the build, how I'm playing it, the talent choices, and yeah, let's talk about REs. Of course, I'm playing Forbidden Technique with 3 multi shots for the extra shots, improved barrage for crit, hasty multi-shot for 1.5 seconds cooldown reduction. That's really helping the rotation get smoother. Just warming up, I got like 80% uptime or something like this. Let me see, yeah, 88%. You have like 1 second, 1.2 seconds downtime during the ambush phase. Barrage for multi-shot damage, focus burst, of course, for multi-shot. Improved ambush for crit and crit damage, or damage overall. And methodical approach for the last and third epic. I've tried munitions expert as well. You can swap that out for boss fights where you can't use your ambush phases as smooth as you would normally do. But overall, methodical approach seems to be the best. I've also tried what we do in the shadows for more shadow damage for the shadow daggers. But since shadow daggers is both combined are like at max 20% of my overall damage, it's not worth it, in my opinion. Alright, let's go over talents. In Rogue Assassination, I got Lethality and Hunger for Blood. I've macroed Hunger for Blood onto Ambush. Lethality seems to be pretty much mandatory. Nothing in Combat Rogue, and Subtlety, Opportunity, and Out of Nowhere, and Master of Subtlety. These both are for the ambush damage, because as you can see, I'm pretty focused on ambush damage. Master of Subtlety is for the physical damage when you enter Shadow Dance and exit Shadow Dance for multi-shot damage. In Enhancement Shaman, I got the Thundering Strikes. I get into that why I picked it up later. Here, Heroic Strike for just 3 damage. I also keybinded it or macroed it onto Ambush. I will link all my macros I'm using in the video description down below. Also, Berserker Stance seems to be the best right now. With better gear, like on Arla, I got the almost full ascended tier 3, the Crypt Stalker. On Arla, I got enough crit, so I rolled the Battle Stance. Battle Stance is, I think, the second best option if you got enough crit. Shadow Form doesn't seem to be worth it, since only like 20% of the overall damage is shadow damage, and also it's a talent point. Death Wish, pretty obvious for the multi-shot and ambush damage. Rampage, ideally somebody else in the party got it, so you don't have to. And yeah, Thundering Strikes is because you want Shadow Daggers, this Shadow Dagger especially, for about 60%. On about 60%, that would be ideal. In rates, it's about 60 to 70%. Of course, with full rate buffs, Flask, and Food. For Flask, you want to go for the Executioner Flask for crit AP. And the Storm Stake for raw agility. For high risk weapon enchants, ideally you want Arcane Precision 3 and 2. I only got Precision 1. And yeah, I got 2 world buffs, Thundering Strikes, Rampage, and Arcane Precision 1, and still only got like 50% right now on Shadow Daggers. The scaling is really scuffed. Although I got here on range crit on paper almost 50%, so that's a little scuffed. What else? Macros. I got cancelaura macro for Shadow Dance, in case I have to get out of melee range ASAP, like on Razorgore when you got targeted for the stun, where everyone else around you gets stunned as well, or Sitoon phase 1, something like this. Other macros are macroed the Furious Howl from the Wolf Pet for extra 100 range attack power on explosive shot and not on automatic cast, because I don't want the buff on, I don't know, off combat where I don't need it, and then it's on cooldown when I need it, so I've just macroed it onto explosive shot. Other macros are this one for ambush. Of ambush, heroic strike, and hunger for blood macroed onto this. For the rotation, ideally you go for 30 to 20 yards. The second ideal range would be around 20 yards, and for 5 to 7 yards, it's not that great to play. As if you play any kind of traps, that's the range you want to go for. So you don't have to charge and disengage out. That's yeah, not worth it. But what I want to say is, ideally you go for 30-yard range, so you have about one global between the actually, let's go for the combat starts. You go for explosive shots, multi-shots. I know, sorry. You go for explosive shot, black arrow, multi-shot, explosive shot again, and then immediately go for a forbidden technique. Ideally, you go for forbidden technique, and in the same second you go explosive shots. So you got the explosive shot up, spam the ambush, and when you get out, you use explosive shot again for an additional 6%. Or actually 8% more physical, then multi-shot again, and into explosive shot. The best case scenario would be you got black arrow up before you enter forbidden technique. So you got the lock and load proc from this one talent point I got here in survivalist and survival hunter lock and load. So ideally you go for a black arrow and then your ambush phase to get the lock and load proc in the ambush phase, so you can get out and explosive shot, multi-shot, instant explosive shot again. It really helps the DPS and also smooth out the rotation. What else? Yeah, using CDs. When do you use CDs? Either you use it, let's say you are close to the boss or close to the target. You use Death Wish before you go into Forbidden Technique ambush phase, because Death Wish cost 1 global, and you don't want to waste your globals for not using ambush. So you either go for Death Wish then ambush phase, or you are about on this range. Then you can Forbidden Technique and in this global use Death Wish, because Forbidden Technique is actually a projectile. You throw it at the target, and it has a travel time like every other shot as well. There's, in my opinion, also a bug, but the balance team seems like it's not a bug, says it's not. But whatever, it's when you use Forbidden Technique and while the projectile travels to the target and you got some kind of knockback or something like this, it won't trigger. It's just on cooldown. You don't get the buff to reduce the cooldown to get the cooldown reduction. Either you get the this shadow dagger. The small shadow daggers is the one from the buff you get after the ambush phase, and this bigger shadow dagger is the one you get after an ambush. Anything else I want to talk about? Let me think. Yes. Yeah, you can find my build on the Hero Architect. Just type in my name, Absalom. That's the first build, and that's the second build. I suggest you pick this one. That's pretty much the same talents I'm using right now, or I would use in raids. Also a little bit about the rotation, what you want to track with Weakauras, and where you can find me on social media or in-game. Feel free to contact me or comment down below if you have any questions. As always, hook me up on Discord. I can share every Weakaura I'm using if you want. Can go over my Weakauras real quick. So I got basically here is my lock and load proc. The purple one is the explosive shot duration on the target. The little green one is the same as this one, is basically the duration for Hunger for Blood. The red one is the duration for just warming up, and this is the stacks for just warming up. This is the duration for the Shadow Dance, and this is the duration for the Black Arrow. That's basically it. I've used some other Weakauras on Allah, as you might have seen on my other videos, but I think it's not really worth it tracking sniper training maybe on weeks like these in Mythic Plus, where you have to move a lot and jump a lot, so you don't have sniper training up as much. Also, I've tracked the Arcane Precision. I suggest you get a spell ID add-on, so you can track any buff or debuff on the target. Let's say I got here explosive shot on it. Okay, I'm too slow. Here you can see the spell IDs. That's really helps to set up the Weakauras. Okay, yeah. Last thing. You don't really want to play this spec in BWL. You can, but you might get fucked in the ass because of tail swipe from Valestros, the knockback from Ley Lasher, and also the tail swipe and the disarm from Nefarion. So on dragons it's pretty much unplayable, as at least as maybe you're quick enough to get into the boss, into his hitbox, to not get tail swiped or disarmed. But yeah, it's not the greatest spec in BWL, but on NMC pretty shines on especially Shazra and Magmadam. Ragnaros as well. And Ragnaros, please keep in mind, when you use Forbidden Technique, you stand in the lava, so keep jumping while you're ambushing. I think that's it. If you have any questions, as always, let me know, and have a good day.